Please join us as Linda Simmering of Atkinson chats with Dr. Douglas McDonald, our superintendent of the Timberlane district.
Tell me how we got to this point.
Well, when I got here, we had just passed a bond issue to deal with some of the space problems at the middle school and also at Pollard. But it became apparent very quickly that this was a growing community, that we had a lot of people moving into the area, and let's face it, it's a wonderful place to live, and that's why people want to live here. And as a result, we really need to look at the space issues in all our communities. We also, as I went through the schools, it became very apparent to me that there was a lot of renovations that needed to take place. A lot of things had not been done that should have been done over the years. And so we brought our consultants in, we looked at the issues, we looked at our enrollment projections, we looked at the things that needed to be done to correct our schools, particularly things like air quality, and then presented the program to the voters. And in the second year that the voters considered it, they passed it by an overwhelming 73%.
Great. Could you tell me a little bit about your experience with school building projects?
Well, besides the projects here, I've been a superintendent now for almost 20 years, and I've done projects in my first superintendency in Moulton Borough. I then went on to a 7-district school administrative unit in the North Country, where we built 2 new schools and we put additions and renovations on all our other schools. And then coming down here, it was apparent we needed to do some work here, and of course we passed the bond issue where we're building a new school, performing arts center, and renovations and additions to all our buildings. We're also looking at a new school in Hampstead, which is the other school district within the SAU. So I've been actively involved for 20 years in building projects.
Great. Some residents of the 4 towns in the district are frustrated that more progress has not been made with construction. There are several questions here, so I'll do them one at a time.
Right.
Was the high school gym supposed to be completed by now?
The answer on the high school gym is yes. We expected the high school gym to be finished by the end of February at the very latest. It's now looking like it's going to be into early April. But one of the things that we tried to do with all of the projects is to make sure we did it right. And sometimes if you rush a project, you end up not doing it correctly. Most of the projects are on schedule. I think one of the problems that we're facing is it's such a massive project that not everybody sees progress, particularly if their school has not yet been started. But certainly in Danville, we're into our new facility.
I'd like to welcome you to Danville School and like to invite you to come in and take a look at our new addition.
Let's join Principal Peg Ralph on a tour of the Danville Elementary School.
In this particular area, we have the secretarial area. My office is also in here, and we have a small conference room. I think you'd be interested in taking a look at the conference room. It has rather unique windows, and it allows us a great view of the outside here at Danville. All right, in this room, although it's a small conference room, we have made wonderful use of it since we've opened up. We use it for small team meetings, for parent meetings, for special education meetings, and for just about anything that needs to hold 6 to 10 people. So we're really pleased to be able to have this space that we can offer parents in an inviting area in order to be able to meet. This is the new principal's office, and I'm really excited about it because it gives me the opportunity to have a little bit more space and to actually have a spot to meet with children. This is the new nurse's office that we have here at Danville. Judy Morse is our school nurse. We now have the capability of working with our children when they're ill. We have a large handicap bathroom that's also part of the nursing office, which is a very important component as we look at working with children with all sorts of different needs. As you enter the building, you come to the central gathering spot that we have here at Danville. And this is a very special spot for us. The PTA donated this beautiful bench that is right here in the middle of these 2 pillars. Very frequently you see students sitting here talking with each other, parents sitting waiting for children. We have staff members who sit and just wait to either leave the building or wait for another group to come down. It's a wonderful gathering spot, and it's a very popular place with all of our children and with all of our staff. As we come around the corner here, we will go into the new library. This is a real centerpiece for Danville. It is approximately twice the size of our old library, and we are really very pleased with it. Our children are so excited about using the library that it is difficult to keep up with the books that they're taking out, which is the most powerful thing that you can say about a library. So I'd like to welcome you to come into our new library. As I said, this is the library that we are so proud of. We also have a wonderful example of how our library is being used. We now have small tables where the children can work in 2 to 4 student groups. It also gives the kids the opportunity to put tables together if they need to work in larger groups. Our furniture is much more child-friendly, and we have the wonderful opportunity of displaying our entire collection. This is the first time that we've been able to do this. As you can see from the students that are in here, they really very much enjoy being in the library, and they are making wonderful use of our beautiful facility. Yeah, just a minute, Alex. This is a typical classroom that we have here at Danville Elementary School. The classroom has 3 walls painted one color, and then we have 1 wall that is a contrasting color. Interestingly, the students feel that having the contrasting color on the whiteboard wall makes it much easier for them to focus in on that wall, which is, I think, a rather astute idea for our children. These are very comfortable rooms. They have excellent ventilation, and we have all noticed a significant difference. If you notice, the ceiling is a pitched ceiling. The reason for that is twofold. One is that it is for acoustical reasons, and the second is for our air ventilation system. We are very fortunate with the new addition to be able to have space for occupational therapy and for physical therapy. I really had significant concerns where prior to this we had to do occupational therapy and physical therapy in the hallways. All children need some privacy when having occupational or physical therapy. So we are very fortunate that we now have the opportunity to have the space for the children not only to have privacy, but to be able to use the type of materials that will help them to become stronger learners. I'd like to welcome you to one of our renovated classrooms. This is a 2nd grade class. All of our wonderful Danville students are eating snack right now. Seeing as it's a Thursday morning, most of them are eating popcorn because it's popcorn day here. At Danville, we have renovated the entire old building. We have looked at putting in ventilation. We have put in communication systems. We've looked at wiring. We've looked at plumbing. We have put in new floors throughout the building. So, and each classroom was painted. So we have done a considerable amount of renovation to the existing building as well as looking at the addition. The existing building was renovated as part of the building project, and all of the renovations that were done were eligible for 50% state aid also. Okay, what I'm going to show you now is like the mechanical heart of the new building. One of the major concerns that the community had with the new building was making sure that we had air quality that was excellent. And so the H.L. Turner Group that designed this building is world-renowned for their air quality issues. Upstairs we do have the air handlers that make sure that we have 100% outside air replacement in each room. We do have a process where we can exchange heat so that we are also trying to conserve heat at the same time. But we also have the opportunity up here to make sure that all of our electrical lines are drawn, and also all our data lines are up here. So it makes for very easy access if and when we ever need to get to it. Okay, you can see strung out here our electrical lines, our data lines. These lines allow us to access the classrooms in a very easy manner. We're looking not only to building for today, but building for the future. And as communication changes, as our infrastructure changes, as computers change, we will be able to have very easy access to classrooms. So it means we don't have to bang through walls, that we'll be able to do things that we were not able to do years ago. Because using these lines, we can easily access all of the classrooms in our new addition. Over here you'll see we have air exchange units. They're located here for ease of service so that we can make sure that filters are changed when they need to be changed. They're not placed on the roof because, as we all know, especially this winter, how difficult it would be if there was a problem and we had to get up and service any kind of an air exchange unit that was on the roof. So it was designed to have them in this space, and it's primarily to make sure that we can have the best air quality possible in the building. One thing that we started last year was a picture this wall, and our enrichment specialist took it upon herself to take a tremendous number of pictures that would show exactly what was happening as the construction went along. This is the end part of the construction, and it actually ends here with our ribbon cutting at Danville that took place on Friday, November 3rd. This was the culminating activity, and this was an opportunity for us to totally celebrate. We looked at what was important to us, and what was important to us was we were now going to be under one roof. So we decided that we would circle the school, and this was symbolic of us all finally being joined together. And seeing as how we wouldn't quite reach if we just used the children circling the building, we thought that what we would do is we would invite all of the adults that were so integral as far as being able to get this building done. So we invited the parents, we invited the superintendent's office, we invited the community, we invited state representatives, and they all came and joined with us. We held ribbons as we joined hands, and we circled the building singing songs. This was also an educational opportunity for our children because our 5th graders were given the task of determining how long the ribbons had to be so that we would all actually reach around the building. It was a wonderful day. We had 100% student participation. We had absolutely wonderful community support, and it was an opportunity for all of us to finally come in, cut the ribbon for our new addition, and be able to enjoy it. This is our cafeteria. A month ago, I would have welcomed you to the cafeteria/gym. Now we are really pleased that this is the room that we use for the cafeteria, but we also use it as an all-purpose room. I thought it would take the teachers a little bit longer to get used to that idea, but it certainly hasn't taken them long at all. They're bringing their classes down here, signing up this room to use it for large group activities, to use it for activities that they just need a lot of elbow room. They sometimes have the cafeteria tables put down, and they have large craft projects going on, or large projects that have to do with maps and so forth. So it's a wonderful opportunity for us to expand our learning environment, and it is a marvelous thing that we can offer our children the space so that many activities can take place here.
At the high school, you don't see it because it's in the back of the building, but we're in our new addition. You can see progress now at Atkinson. You're beginning to see progress at Pollard. So with the exception of actually the library at the high school, the gymnasium in the high school, we're pretty much on the target that we had set. It's just that it's going to take 3.5 years to do everything because this is such a massive undertaking.
Principal Heidi Webster will tell us about the construction project going on now at Atkinson Academy.
Welcome to Atkinson Academy. Come on in. Well, as you can see, we're under construction. The tile has been taken off the floor with asbestos removal. We have no ceiling tile. Right here we have a worker who's measuring for the duct work that will be part of the new renovations. We're pretty crowded right now. We're looking forward to having some more space.
We're in the 1803 building. This is the original building of Atkinson Academy. There are 4 classrooms, 2 up, 2 down. This building is on the historic trust. It is unfortunately a wooden structure and needs to be sprinklered to be safe.
Right now we're in the gym. When the whole school wants to assemble, we're crowding this room from wall to wall. We also have lunch in here. We have phys ed classes. With our increasing population, there's not enough time to have both, and there's not enough room. Our lunches are very crowded, and I think for fire safety reasons, we can't have a performance with parents here.
The
This is where the new building and the old building will be connected. Sometime next month, we'll be breaking through. The passageway between the two schools is built, it just hasn't been opened up yet. This is the other side of the wall where we just are. This is the connector. Actually, the cinder blocks are a room for the kiln and the art room. Students will come through here. The second floor, if you want to look over here, is 4 classrooms. And down on the end, our enrichment room, library, first floor offices, more classrooms. There's a guidance suite, and we'll soon see the phys ed, the gym on the back. We're in the gym. Right now, the barrier between the regular classroom building and the gym is going up. There will be an entryway. It's blocked now. Directly across here is the stage area. Otherwise, we'll have a full-size regulation gym. This will not be a lunchroom. It will be strictly physical education and for community use for basketball. Okay, this is the gym. As you get over to the regular building, those windows are the library upstairs. Downstairs are the 2 classrooms. Unfortunately, we can't go in today because of work being done in the doorway area. Okay, this is sheetrock going in the door right now. To the left of where it is will be the main offices. The nurse's office will also be on the first floor. They're currently building partitions, which is very exciting to see happening. Our time capsule is buried just this side of the cement slab in front of the building here.
Let us join the children of Pollard Elementary School in Plastow as they celebrate the groundbreaking for their new addition. Please listen as Henry Fardella, principal of Pollard Elementary School in Plastow, speaks.
Recently, I had to prepare an article, a story for the Timberlane District Report. This year I wrote about the spirit of community that we have here at Pollard. Today, Pollard students, you are a part of this large gathering that is celebrating this groundbreaking. What does it mean for you? It means that you will see a new addition be built. 6 classrooms and 2 smaller rooms. Some of you will be leaving Pollard School, but you will have many memories of it. And every time you drive by and see this addition, it will remind you of this day. It will remind you of how hard your parents and all the people of Plastow and the Timberlane School District have worked to make sure that you and future generations will have excellent buildings to be educated in.
Construction. C is for caution, signs all around. O is for orange cones surrounding the field. N is for noise, S is for shelter. T is for trucks, trucks will be around. R is for really big machines. U is for unsafe, you could get hurt. C is for classrooms. T is for tools of all sorts. I is for items that we do not recognize. O is for observing all good construction. N is for new addition to the Pollard School.
Brianna Allen of Mrs. Carroll's 4th grade class will share her poem.
The new building. The new building is coming soon. The new building is here. I wonder what it looks like. Is it tall? Is it small? Is it wide? Is it thick? I wonder if we have some new teachers. What are their names? I wonder.
Sarah Hoist of Mr. Bacon's 5th grade class and her sister Hannah of Mrs. Toscano's entry class will share their poem.
Our poem is called Construction. When school is under construction, who knows what will happen? There will be meetings and lots of work to do. Construction, construction, construction. When school is under construction, Who knows what will happen?
What has happened with renovations at Sandown Central School?
Sandown Central was the last project that we were going to undertake. And the reason for that is we were building a new school at Sandown. We figured that the new school would be completed for the beginning of the next school year. We would then be able to take 60% of the population from the existing school and put them in the new school, and then start renovation when we had much fewer students in that facility and make it a lot easier. With cost overruns, and most of those overruns were due to inflation or unanticipated costs, such as the soil conditions or the additional ledge that we ran into at Sandown North. With cost overruns, we're not going to be able to complete that project unless the voters approve $1.7 million in interest money that we've earned on the bond. One of the things I think is important that the voters need to understand is we're not asking for additional tax dollars. What we're asking for is money that we've earned on the bond through the good investment and the interest money that we've earned. But we're not coming back and saying we want you to raise more tax dollars. All we're asking for is permission to use the money that we already have earned on the bond. And this was unanticipated because we have not had to spend the money as quickly as we had anticipated. So as a result, we've been able to earn more interest to the voters and the taxpayers.
Great. Once the renovations are completed, how long can we expect these additional classrooms to meet our needs?
When we passed the bond, we talked about the schools meeting our needs through the year 2010. And I think that's still a pretty solid number. We had said when we were presenting the bond at Atkinson, we weren't really sure what was going to be happening in Atkinson. And in fact, the growth in Atkinson right now is quite steady. It's the second largest or fastest growing community right now in terms of student population. So with the exception perhaps of Atkinson Academy and perhaps the middle school, which is also growing much faster than we expected, I would think we'll make it through 2010. And I'm hopeful that Atkinson in the middle school will take us through that year as well. At that point, we'll have to see how the economy is and what's happening, what type of growth we're having in the communities. But some of our communities have put some controls on growth, and that will help us in our planning and also will slow the need now for new classrooms and a new addition in some of our communities.
Great. What has been the most frustrating part of this construction project for you, and also what's been the most enjoyable?
Well, I think the most frustrating part is running into unanticipated costs, and also running into a period when construction costs are just going up dramatically, and that was not something we had foreseen. We expected costs to go up, but nothing like 10 to 15% a year. I think the best part is when you open a new school and you go up to Danville and you see the excitement of the children when they went into that facility, and you realize that they can now do things that they couldn't do before. And one example was the recent 5th grade play that they put on in the new facility. And talking with Peg Ralph, the principal, she said there's no way we could have done that type of production had we not had the facility, because we were so cramped. I think it's been exciting to watch the high school students go into the new wing at the high school. I think kids were really impressed with what we've accomplished. And so I think the best part is when we open each of the sections of the schools and our students get to use them.
Great.
We hope that you have enjoyed viewing Part 1 of the State of Our Union. Please look for Part 2 on the same channel.